Welcome back. This is Ryan. You've joined Vowel Ventures. We have a project, unexpected one. Old Ugly seems to have a nosebleed. It's actually had it for quite a while, but it's getting worse, so it's time to fix it. Let's get to work. Pull the lines off. Pull the pump out, get it on the back of the truck where I can work on it. The pump actually pops out of the reservoir fairly easily. Should be just an O-ring issue. Oh goodness. Appears that the return hose, there we go, has adhered itself to the fitting. That's going to make a mess. It's going to make a big mess. This is not the engine that came in this truck originally. Actually, this truck originally was a 4.3 liter V6. This is actually the second version of this truck I built. This is a replacement chassis. And it too had a 4.3 V6. The person before me put a small block 350 in it. And that's just, it's not a bad engine, it's just a boring engine. Doesn't make anywhere near enough torque. Neither does a 454 for that matter. But big block Cadillac is the pure definition and epitome of a mountain motor. If for no other reason, it'll move mountains. So that's what I put in it. And it lives up to its name. It is an absolute wonderful engine. Even if sometimes it gets a little cranky and jealous. Come off there. My hope is to keep this truck alive, get it moved up to Alaska, and then clean the engine up, freshen it up one more time, and hopefully shove the engine in my 1-ton 4-wheel drive Chevy up there. Because that truck has the small block Chevy that I speak of that is being so gutless. And of all trucks that needs the torque and power, it's that one. But this has been a good truck. It has done everything I've asked of it. Towed everything I put behind it. Hauled everything I've put in the bed. And I put a lot of stuff in the bed that really shouldn't have. I think the most I've had was probably close to 2,500 pounds, maybe 3,000 pounds in the bed and on the rear pipe rack. And it didn't even blink and bat an eye. Okay. That's ready to come out. I should go make room for it. Yep. thing we need to do. Pull the pulley off. This pump is early enough that it's a keyed shaft, keyed pulley, instead of a tapered shaft, so I don't need the special puller for it. So that's nice. All I need is a good strong grip. Hope I can get it off. That's all there was to it. Oops, not all there was to it. It's a lot easier to knock that off when it's still bolted in the truck. It's going to be stubborn, huh? Really don't want to whack the shaft, but I'm kind of running out of options here. Need a good way to lock it down. Use the hard epoxy side. It won't mushroom the shaft, and it just needs to knock it loose. There we go. Now, generally beating on the shaft is a very bad idea. Sometimes you just don't have a whole lot of choice. Alrighty. Near as I could tell, it was actually the O-ring down here that was leaking. So we'll get a close-up of that. I need to pull out this bolt and those two to actually take the pump out of the body. Stick that there. Alright. Oh boy. I think I got a little carried away putting this on last time. I changed the pump a while ago because the old pump was getting real tight and worn. Not long after I changed it, I got a really slow leak showing up. And of course I ignored it. But lately, especially after coming back from this trip and a lot of towing that I just did, hauling some equipment for work, the leak got a lot worse. Where I'm losing pretty much a reservoir of fluid in less than 80 miles. So it's time to address it. There's the bracket. Alright. So I need to pull this fitting out because it's threaded into the pump itself. This is a lot nicer and easier when the pump's been empty for a while and I can get it dried off and clean. But kind of in a hurry. I don't need the truck right away coming up this week. But it'll be nice to have towards the end of the week. And it's taking up carport space where we like to keep our other car. Alright, so. Now comes the part I don't remember how to do. Into there. This should pop out, and it might give me some resistance just because it's an O-ring seal. I'll give it a few love taps and see if it moves. Oops. Don't think this is holding it in, but that pump is supposed to come out of the reservoir. Oh, I hope I don't regret this. Definitely easier just to go get a fresh pump and put it in and blah 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 blah. Wow, that's a check valve. But being that this is actually for a 71 Cadillac, they're kind of hard to find here in Oahu. Not the cheapest and take forever to get here. So if I can pull this apart, change the seals, and get it back up and running, it'll save a lot of money and time. And at this point, that's far more beneficial. I'm kind of tired of like throwing things away just to buy new ones, to have them die and throw them away. Society's a bit too disposable for my taste. Alright, so those are all blind holes, no press points. Wonder if I can grab this in the vise. That is supposed to come out of there. Maybe I should look it up real quick. I don't think it's threaded in. I'll bet with a couple of bolts in the back, might be able to kind of sort of press it out. Those two rear bolts. Probably not a recommended technique, but it'll definitely be the used technique if it works. Since these bolts hold the pump in and go through the bracket and seal everything up, if I can get them threaded in well enough. Ooh, it's warm. If I can get them threaded in well enough, I should be able to knock the seal loose, get the body separated. Which will tailgates are great. Your tools. Perfect. Like a box. Worst case scenario, destroy the pump and get them anyway. Let's see what happens here. We're gonna move this mess. Once I move, the other side, if I had support there. Oh, poop. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Oh, I feel like an idiot. I might have just destroyed the reservoir. Yeah, I might have just destroyed the reservoir. Fortunately, reservoirs are cheap if I can't get it moved out again. But I didn't get this taken out. So, you know, sometimes I gotta follow my own medicine, where I tell myself, don't force things. If it won't come, it ain't right. One of these days I think I'd listen to myself. Question is, do I have a socket big enough? Oh, I do. Oh, look at that. Pump fell right out. Yep, I proved it. I am an idiot. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's just a sheet metal housing. I didn't deform it too much. I should be able to get it back together. At the very least, it's not deformed as much as the old one that this one replaced this. And I have to, I can get a reservoir. But there's the inside of a Saginaw pump. self-contained within its own reservoir, used on, oh man, probably every General Motors car in the 60s, 70s, into the 80s, versions of them in the 90s. Well, let's not lose that seal. I have a full seal kit, but I'd like to leave them in so I know where they came from. Alright, so this is the culprit. At least I think it is. This O-ring, I think that O-ring was leaking. Because ever since it was new, ever since it's new, I've seen fluid dripping out of the bottom of the reservoir. There's actually a rough spot right there. And that's could have been traveling around. I don't see a big break or tear. That doesn't mean a whole lot. Okay, well, I'm going to clean that up. And we'll clean everything up, check everything else, and put it back together, I guess. Okay, there's a seal kit, there's some Q-tips, there's some lacquer thinner, because I seem to be out of brake cleaner. I suppose before I go too far, I should actually make sure. Oh, I think that's it right there. What was that? Oh, okay. Okay. This should be the only seal I really care about because I didn't see anything else leaking. That looks like it. See, that's it. Oh, I'm going to go through a lot of gloves in this one. I'm trying to keep my hands clean for the cameras. Whoops. Alright, so get this cleaned up a bit. Notice anything really bad in there. There's some sticky stuff in there, but that's probably just vulcanized seal. Sorry, no dump in the truck. I should put that piece back in, just hold everything. Last thing I need to do is start losing pump internals. Shaft seal is definitely dry, so I'm not going to mess with that. Really don't feel like tearing the whole pump down and doing a full rebuild. Doesn't need it. Just need to get this body sealed up. Don't see a good reason inside the reservoir for it to leak either. I didn't actually get too much deflection on that from beating on it with the pressure fitting still in there, adapter, whatever. But it does need to get knocked out a bit. There we go. That's better. The world might call it a crescent wrench or an adjustable wrench, but it's really a planishing hammer. Not perfect, but it should pull together, I think. And if it doesn't, it wouldn't be the first thing I screwed up. I think I can live with that. Looks about as good as the rest of the truck. Yeah. Well, it'll work or it won't. Alrighty. Want some lube. Just want a really thin coat of, really light coat of grease on the O-ring to help it slide in. It doesn't go in deep enough to let grease get into the power steering fluid. And that feels gritty. I'll change my gloves. Doesn't feel good. Okay, where's that O-ring? Feels better. A little bit of grit. Okay, well there's still a little grease on it. Don't really want much at all. Pop this back in. Put this back together. Cross our fingers. Starting to think this truck was a bit English. I think the only color of fluid that doesn't leak out of it is green for coolant. Okay, so here, come on. This should be popping right down into there like so. Of course I put it in upside down. There we go. Whoops. There we go. Yeah, there. There we go. There we go. Something like that. Line these bolts up again. Now to carefully press the body back in. Huh. I need to get it. There we go. Let's see if it'll start. Alright, so it worked pretty good. Alright. Throw the spring and the plunger back in for the second or third time. Maybe even wipe them off first. Anything funny looking there? Nope. This seal is still there in place. Looks like it's actually making decent contact all the way around, so that's a good bonus. Those are threading nicely. That didn't work as planned. Guess I didn't have it started. There we go. Let's take that power down quite a bit. Huh. Okay, something's not right here. Oh, that's just not pushing down far enough. Come on, catch. Not left-hand third, is it? Okay, it's back together. It's in the thing. I just have to tighten down the 3 mounting bolts. It just wasn't perfectly lined up. I took out the 2 bolts in the back, which weren't tight anyway. Popped right together. Story of my life. So we'll get it all snugged down back into the bracket properly and start putting it back in the truck. This is so much easier to do when it's bolted to something, especially when it's all greasy. I guess if there's anything to take away from this, it's that if something is popped together and you know it's an O-ring seal and it won't come apart, you probably shouldn't just start beating on it. And I know that, and I know better than to do that, but I forget, because I also managed to mushroom the head of this bolt just a little bit. Normally I wouldn't be trying to bust a gut on them, except I'm kind of using them to try to reform that sheet metal reservoir just a little to make sure it's biting on the seals good. I'm not positive I can get to these with it in the truck. Where'd the hose? There it is. I'll want to line that up inside the truck. But I think we're about ready to put it back in. Once I have it in. Oh, my bracket's cracked. Great. Once I have it back in, then I'll get them snugged up a little, triple check these 3 bolts, put it back together. Okay, so let's go put this back in the truck. And then we'll snug it down there. Okay, pulled the pulley back off real fast, running on daylight as always. This O-ring that was underneath the bypass check valve cover may have actually been the culprit in the first place. That pushed out area there started leaking really bad. I found a rubber O-ring in the kit. I don't really like it. It seems bigger than it should be. I'm actually kind of afraid of it pushing out when I tighten it down a bit more, but I don't have a whole lot of choice right now. So I'm going to reset the camera, tighten it down, put the pulley back on, put it all back together. Let's see what happens. All right, let's see if we can get that snugged up without ripping it up. Really hope this works, otherwise it could be entertaining trying to find a replacement O-ring here. It's a soft O-ring, which scares me. I'd rather it be copper or more of that PTFE Teflon. Oh yeah, it's pushing it out. That's really not going to work. Okay, so this project is done for now. I'm going to have to find a copper seal or another O-ring for that. Well, I'm guessing that's where the leak was from it originally. Well, shoot. All right, it took a couple days, but I found a replacement seal for that, what I'm assuming is a pressure bypass plug. The original one I found and tried yesterday was a copper gasket. Didn't quite fit, tried to make it fit, made it worse. So I went to another hydraulic shop today and found a hard plastic O-ring. So that's what we're trying for right now. It should fit. Well, the seal fits. That's all we really need. Get that snug down. As long as that gasket doesn't push out. I think we're okay. Let's see how that works. Put the pulley back on, throw the belt on, fire it up, hope for the best. Fighting the belt back on the crank pulley is always fun. I swapped to the oil pump, the angled oil pump, or excuse me, the angled oil filter housing from a Cadillac 425 in order to clear the frame rail. And that makes it a pretty tight squeeze to get the belt on. Get it tightened up a bit here. I really hope this works. I want this truck back. Going to need it possibly next week and definitely the week after that to get some equipment up to a customer's job site. It's been long overdue. Scheduling's finally working out. The only thing left to do, okay, put some fluid in it, hope it fires up. All right, I'm going to turn this one off. I'll stick it over here out of the road. Fire it up and see what happens. Steering rack is filled up, or gearbox is filled up, so top this off a bit. You guys might get to see a starter change. That's it. Old Ugly seems to be back to life. Power steering seems to have stopped leaking. This truck has been my baby. I built this truck, the first version, 20 years ago. This version's probably 15 years old, give or take a little bit. It's running good though. Like, subscribe, share with friends. There'll be more projects along the way. This one was unexpected. Like I said before, I'm back in Hawaii now, so I have time to work with my daughter and learn better techniques and editing, and we'll have fun adventures as well as chores. Until next time, I'll see you later.